Going on, bottom line viewers, it's Mitch here, back with your NFL Divisional Round 2022 review, recap, reaction, and of course, we are going to have some rants here tonight as I discuss in depth every single matchup, all four of the Divisional Round games, what I thought happened, what didn't happen, how these four teams advanced to Championship Sunday this upcoming week. And we are going to talk about the four teams that did advance, how I believe they will fare, and which one of the teams I believe looks like the Super Bowl champion. But we're also going to talk about the teams that were defeated, the teams that lost, the teams that drew the short stick and came up short, and why they came up short. So, I've got a lot to say. Let's waste no more time. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here live. If you're not joining me here live, appreciate you joining me after the fact. And I do want to apologize up front about not being able to do the Chiefs and the Bills game. I was so into the Rams and the Bucs, I lost my voice at the end of the broadcast. I literally could not say another word. And I was put on IR for the rest of the night. And I was riled up, too. I had so much energy during that Chiefs and Bills game. And then, really, I was just beat up. I don't know what happened, but yesterday, man, so crazy. Emotions up and down and everywhere. So, it was a wild weekend. And appreciate everybody who tuned in to all the live streams and sent the super chats and joined the BLV membership, which I do want to get to before we get to the reviews, which is to say I put it in as a pinned comment at the top of the live comment section. You can become a BLVer right now. You can support me, support the channel, and you can get exclusive perks, especially for those live streams. So check that out. You'll have a nice BLV badge beside your name while you're here live. I put it right at the top of the pinned comment section, so check it out. But thank you guys for everybody that has signed up already. Appreciate all of you. And let's get to it. Let's play that Lenny intro and let's roll. Jones is my favorite quarterback in the 2021 NFL Draft. San Francisco are legit contenders in 2019. Tom Brady is going to win the Super Bowl with the Bucs this year. All right, so Gronk spiked that like button. And let's go. Let's take a look at who's here. I got to give you shout outs. Isaac, Mr. Peter, Minnie, baby. What's going on? Yash, Natasha, Jeremy, Steeler Nation, Isaac. Sports Today, Frank. All right. Daniel, Samuel, Afix. Thank you guys for joining. Let's get to the first game. Okay. So. Okay, no. Before I even get to Bengals Titans, I got to say this. Okay? I got to say this. What a weekend of football, first off. I am usually not somebody that overreacts. I don't come on here and claim that the latest movie that came out is the greatest movie I've ever seen. The greatest album that I just heard is the best. Right? The last album that I heard is the best. All that stuff. The new TV show is the best. I don't do that. Okay? I don't go about this life talking about things without time. Right? I feel like I'm somebody where I need time to pass. Where I can truly appreciate something. It's very hard for me to appreciate something without time. I feel like time is the most important, critical thing. And when it comes to the NFL, a lot of the times, I will not truly understand, and maybe this is me to a fault, but sometimes I don't truly understand how great something is in the moment, or I won't be claiming that it's the best. I won't crown it the best in the moment. I need time to digest it. I need time to think about it, to process it. But I will say this. I did not need time to understand what I just saw this weekend. And what I'm saying is I believe this was the best divisional round of all time. At least the best divisional round that I've ever seen. And it was a divisional round built in such a way and crafted by the schedule masters of the NFL in impeccable fashion. It was so much so that I thought that the great Vince Russo wrote it for the Attitude Era. Shout out to Vinny Rue with his birthday today, the legend. But I feel like this guy wrote the script for this weekend. And this is the weekend where I believe those people that say this stuff is scripted. I don't usually believe those people, but I believe it this weekend. Because from the beginning of the weekend to the end of the weekend, we had escalation. We had, from the beginning of the weekend to the end, a good game, followed up by a very good game, followed up by a great game, followed up by an epic game. Like, that was this weekend. We had 4 games, and every single game was good. Every single game finished with a game-winning field goal, or the last possession of the game was decided by one possession, the last play of the game, and every single one got better. You started with a good game with the Bengals and the Titans that was more exciting in the end than it appeared it would be in the beginning. The second game between the Niners and the Packers was a game that everybody that enjoys football weather, everybody that enjoys defense, everybody that enjoys the dramatics that can be from Lambeau Field would enjoy that game. You get a third game, which is a Tom Brady epic comeback, and then sealed with a Matthew Stafford moment. And then the last game is just the era-defining performance of 2 quarterbacks that are defining the era. It was an incredible weekend. It was unbelievable. And I have seen a lot of good weekends. And I've always said divisional round is the best. And this is the best divisional round I've ever seen. So for that, I just want to start off by saying that this is the best divisional round I've ever seen. I don't need no time. I don't need more sleeps. I know it's the best. I'm willing to put it up there and say this was the best divisional round. And we had at least 2 of the best games I've ever seen. Like, in terms of how weird and strange they were, but then also how, like, I feel they're going to go down in history as big-time moments. And we also saw some upsets, which is always pretty exciting. So, man, what a weekend. Let me know which game you enjoyed the most. I know a lot of people are probably going to say it's the Bills and the Chiefs, which is totally cool. But I'm sure there's others out there that enjoyed other games. Like, for me, the Rams and Bucs game was really close, just in terms of how weird that game ended up being, and we're going to discuss that. And then the big theme of the weekend to me, and I was listening to Michael Lombardi's podcast. The GM Shuffle is one of my favorite football podcasts that I listen to religiously. I have his book right here, The Gridiron Genius. And I like listening to him because he takes the game from I wouldn't call it like, he takes it from a GM perspective, but he also takes it from an old school perspective. And he worked with Al Davis, Bill Walsh, Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick. So I like his perspective of how he talks about the game. And I think something that I noticed throughout the weekend was the obviously situational football. Because every game ended the way it did in dramatic fashion, some of that was because of the greatness of the team that won. Some of it was also because of the teams that lost and the faults that they had at the end, and some of the mistakes they made to allow the other team to win. And ultimately, a lot of these teams that ended up moving on just made less mistakes in situational football. And I feel like situational football and game management was absolutely at an all-time level crucial this weekend. So we're going to go through those themes as well as what happened on the field through every matchup. And now that I've said that, let's get to our first game, which is the Bengals and the Titans. If you guys haven't already, make sure that you do Gronk. Spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more BLV just like this. Get in the comment section and let me know how you felt about divisional round. Okay. So Bengals and Titans. Got all my notes here just for you guys. Okay. So, first of all, main takeaway from the game was this game solidified my thoughts on Joe Burrow. Okay? Solidified my thoughts on Joe Burrow. This guy is absolutely positively special and will be for a very long time. And I feel like Joe Burrow is different from a lot of these new age quarterbacks. And the reason I say that is Joe Burrow is not exactly like a lot of these new generation quarterbacks. He's not like this physically gifted specimen of a quarterback. He's not Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Justin Herbert. What he is to me is mentally the toughest quarterback that I've seen at a young age since Tom Brady, really. But I feel like he just mentally, his makeup is second to none in terms of the young quarterbacks. This guy won a football game getting sacked 9 times. Now, some of that was to his doing. I feel like a lot of people don't really understand what they're watching a lot of the times. And I actually spoke about this in the preview, okay? And I said that a lot of the times Joe Burrow will take sacks, and it's because he's looking to make big plays. And I feel like there was a common theme throughout the weekend, and specifically with the quarterback that plays for the Green Bay Packers. Joe Burrow is willing to take a sack if it means that another play, another down, might result in him buying that split second of time to deliver that big throw down the field. So he's willing to take sacks. He's willing to hold on to the ball a bit longer because he knows that, first, it's going to result in big plays. Second, if he gets sacked, he knows that his offense is built to convert third and longs. So he's not really worried about 3rd and 15 like some other quarterbacks are. If Jimmy Garoppolo takes a sack on 2nd and 9, it's not exactly a good thing, right? That's not how they're built. With the Bengals, it's not a good thing, but it's not absolutely critical that he throws the ball away, if you understand what I mean. So him taking 9 sacks, a lot of it was the Titans' pressure, and the Titans' pressure was phenomenal. But some of it is just the way Joe Burrow plays, him holding onto the ball to make big throws. But Joe Burrow's willing to make those big plays. And for him to be sacked 9 times, for him to be under duress on a lot of plays, for him to continuously shove that to the side, and that's very difficult to do. You know, we saw 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time this weekend be affected by pressure in some way, shape, or form. Brady dealt with it better than Aaron Rodgers, but both of them at times looked a little bit fragile in the pocket at their older age. Joe Burrow, I never got the sense that he was affected by the pressure. At any point in the game, I never sat there and I was like, this guy is just he's gonna just take the sack. He's just gonna, be worried about the D-line. That never really happened for me when watching Joe Burrow. He was always focused on the next play. He always was able to move on. He was always able to stay level. He wasn't too high, he wasn't too low. And I think that has an impact on his football team as a leader from a play perspective, but also off the field as well. And he's got these leadership traits that I think are what you desire to have in a franchise quarterback. And I just can't say enough about Joe Burrow because to me, when you look at the 4 teams in the championship round, he has by far taken the least talented team to this level, right? I think when you look at the other 3 teams, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Niners. We could have all projected and predicted these teams to be there. With the Bengals are a team that don't belong here. I'm just going to be honest with you. They don't feel like a team that is a Super Bowl level team. But somehow, someway, they've risen. They've been able to get to this level. And I think a lot of that has to do with Joe Burrow, his play, but also his mentality as a leader. So, I mean, phenomenal job by him. He played a great game. Looking at the game, I want to credit the Titans D-line. I thought they played phenomenal. Jeffrey Simmons, man, this guy, absolutely an animal. He is an elite player at this position. He had multiple sacks in the game. He took over the game, and the interior pressure was outstanding. Danico Autry played his butt off, and the Titans were just continuously breaking down the pocket and getting pressure. Sack after sack after sack. This was the most sacks that a winning quarterback in the playoffs has ever taken. 9 sacks. 9. The Titans' D-line was doing everything they could to win this game. Everything they could. On the flip side, the Titans offensively, Derrick Henry didn't look like himself to me. He didn't look like himself. I felt like he looked a step slow. He didn't look like he was able to, move side to side the way that I feel like he usually does. He wasn't as explosive as I usually see him. And he wasn't making the impact. And a big reason for that is DJ Reader. DJ Reader of the Bengals was the unsung hero of the weekend. This guy played unbelievable stuffing the run for Cincinnati. Nobody talked about his impact on this game. But this is the reason the Bengals signed DJ Reader 2 seasons ago. Remember, he was great versus the run in Houston. They got that big 300 and something pounder from the Texans, signed him up for reasons like this. When you've got to face Derrick Henry in the playoffs, you need a big interior stuffer. And DJ Reader played really well. The secondary of the Bengals, I thought, played really well, especially Jesse Bates, who played unbelievable. He's very good. Very good player. Had the first play of the game, interception by Ryan Tannehill. Read it like a book that he's read 3 times. Ryan Tannehill is a big storyline. Tannehill, oh man, what do I even got to say here? Ryan Tannehill, if I'm being honest with you, so a lot of people were hyping up the Titans, right? Durkant, Ultra, and company, building up the Titans all year long, all season. And I'm not even gonna like get on them for that. It's whatever, bro. Like, I've made bad predictions too, okay? But the reason I didn't pick the Titans is because Ryan Tannehill. I mean, I know who this guy is. And the Dolphins let go of him. We know who this guy is. He's a good quarterback when he's elevated by everything around him. When he's got the run game, when he's got the receivers, when he's got the defense, he's a guy that can perform. But he's never a guy that can elevate. He's never a guy that can elevate his team. He's never going to be the MVP. He's never going to be top 10 elite. He's never going to be that type of level, right? Even if you're ranking him last year or the year before in that conversation, you're putting an asterisk next to it saying, okay, we understand that he's playing to this level from a metric standpoint, but he's also, he's doing it because of this, that, and the other. It's not just because Ryan Tannehill is doing this all himself, right? He's surrounded by a good situation, and in that good situation, he has been thriving. This game, he had all the pieces. He had no reason to let us down. And in every big moment that the Titans needed him, he didn't make the play. He didn't make the throw. I mean, this guy was not nearly pressured as much as Joe Burrow. And I saw times where, bro, Ryan Tannehill, you're a former wide receiver. I know you can run. I know you have escapability. I know that you can scramble. Why are you taking sacks like this? Why are you under pressure just turtling? That was absolutely disgusting to watch. Ryan Tannehill made no play in this game where I was like, wow, that was an incredible play by Ryan Tannehill. He escaped the pressure. He moved. He doesn't even use his legs. The guy probably runs a 4.7. He didn't even use his legs once. I didn't watch him go outside the pocket, throw on the run. Bro, this is what you're supposed to give this offense. It's the playoffs. You gotta leave it all on the line. The Mike Hilton play was disgusting. He just threw it right to him. Mike Hilton read it again like a book he's read 4 times. I mean, Tannehill to me was terrible in this game. And it's not like he didn't make nice throws. But A.J. Brown, bro. A.J. Brown. This guy is unbelievable. Every time I watch A.J. Brown, and you're right, Negan, I believe, you're right. The A.J. Brown touchdown on the sideline, the right sideline, it's double coverage. It was a nice throw. No doubt. Nice throw. Okay? But A.J. Brown made a better play there, even than the quarterback did. And A.J. Brown, bro, this guy, every time I watch him, I say, why did we pick N'Keal Harry over this dude? What sense does Bill Belichick have picking N'Keal Harry over A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown was a Patriots fan before he got drafted, and we picked N'Keal Harry over this guy. How did this guy last I don't understand how he lasted till the second round. Have you seen him? Have you seen this guy? He's huge. He's fast. He's got good hands. He runs solid routes. He's great after the catch. How does he last till the second round? Who's evaluating NFL receivers at this point? Anyways, I said this before the playoffs, and a lot of people said, you're an idiot. A.J. Brown's the most valuable Titan on their offense. It's not Derrick Henry, it's A.J. Brown. That guy is a monster. He's the reason they were moving the ball at all in this game. And you saw it with Deontay Foreman, who actually had a nice game running the ball. This guy was going off running the ball at certain moments. I mean, they should have played him over Derrick Henry at times. I'm just going to be honest with you. They should have been playing him over Derrick Henry because Henry clearly didn't have the juice. Foreman did. Foreman broke that one away. A.J. Brown's a beast. He's a stud. You know who's also a stud? Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase. This guy, there's only one other receiver that I watch and I say, how did he do that? How? How did Jamar Chase, there was one play in this game where he caught the ball in the flat. There were 2 Titans defenders, and he made them run into each other, and he made them both miss at the same time. Jamar Chase, him and Tyreek Hill, I don't understand how this happens. Chase is making plays down the field. He makes the plays after the catch. His acceleration is unbelievable when he gets the ball. Unbelievable. He's getting the ball in the flat and making 2 players miss and make them look like they're slow. He is absolutely elite. Don't say this about Jamar Chase. Don't say that just because he's a rookie, he doesn't deserve to be in the top 5, top 3. He is right there. This guy is unbelievable. His ability to catch contested passes. He doesn't have one area of the game where he is not elite. You can't name one area where Jamar Chase is not unbelievable. He's so good. I thought Joe Mixon, okay? Joe Mixon, man. Joe Mixon's line can't block me, okay? There's some runs in this game where Joe Mixon cut it back. That one touchdown run was special. That run was special. He cut it all the way across the field. No blocking at all. He made like three runs in this game where I was like, oh, that was an unbelievable run. And Joe Mixon is a guy where he would be successful on any team in the NFL. You put him in any system, you put him in any running game, anything. Doesn't matter. He could be in any system. He would be a top back in the league. His vision and his ability to cut on a dime and his vision to see that cutback lane, I mean, in this game, I thought he played really well because the Titans have an elite run defense. I thought he was going to go nowhere all day, but I underestimated his ability to find space when space isn't there. And to me, that is the biggest feature in a running back that goes under the radar, is that ability to see those 3 yards when it looks like you're going to get minus 3 yards. So, Joe Mixon, I thought, had an unbelievable game. What else do I got to talk about in this game? I thought the Titans, again, with their defense, I think this is something that the Chiefs got to take away. The Titans defense with their simulated pressures and what they do to be able to show blitz like they're going to blitz, but then be able to only send 4, but still get immense pressure is extremely impressive. They do that at a league high rate, and they do that as good as anybody, if not better than anybody. The Chiefs got to take that away from this game plan. They got to be able to see what they did to this offensive line and Joe Burrow and replicate that for the AFC Championship. Understand that, Spags, you don't have to blitz, but you got to look like you're going to blitz and pick your 4 to send to the quarterback, because the Titans did a great job of using simulated pressure to create pressure and to get sacks on Joe Burrow. Right? I thought the Bengals tackles actually played pretty well, but their interior offensive line was absolutely destroyed. So another X factor entering next weekend is going to be Chris Jones. Can Chris Jones replicate Jeffrey Simmons and what he was able to do in that game? Credit Mike Vrabel for an awesome season. Credit Mike Vrabel for an awesome season. To me, Mike Vrabel was the coach of the year in the regular season. And after seeing the Titans fall in this round, it made me realize, look, Mike Vrabel had to overcome a ton for this team. And we just saw Ryan Tannehill absolutely poop himself. So he had to manage a team without a lot of his best players, a defense missing a ton of players. They actually used, the Tennessee Titans used the most players throughout a regular season in NFL history. Mike Vrabel's the coach of the year for that, because he was able to still get the number 1 seed despite using the most players that a team has ever used, missing Derrick Henry, missing A.J. Brown, missing Julio for games, and having to manage a Ryan Tannehill who clearly, without his best players, is not very good. He's not a quarterback that you look at and say, he can elevate a team. You've got to elevate him, okay? And defensively, the Titans get a lot out of kind of average talent, especially in the back end. So give a lot of credit to Mike Vrabel for the success that the Titans had this season. I want to say this about the Bengals. McPherson, ice cold. One of the best kickers in the NFL already as a rookie. Did you see and hear what Joe Burrow said about this guy? That he said, hey, look, we're just going to go to the AFC Championship game. He was kicking warm-ups, and he was saying, I guess we're going to the AFC Championship game. This guy's ice cold. Ice cold. Unbelievable game for him. He hit multiple 50-yarders, including a game winner. Ice cold. So, I thought that was a good game. Proved to me Joe Burrow's resiliency, how special he is, how the Bengals are going to be here for a long time moving forward. They're going to be a special team because of him leading the way. And I do want to say, Titans weren't good enough, never were good enough to be a Super Bowl team. Anyone that picked them was a downright idiot. Anybody that picked them just didn't realize the disaster that Ryan Tannehill can become. And we saw that in this game. But give Mike Vrabel credit for the season that they were able to have. So, those are my takeaways from the first matchup, Bengals and Titans. Let me know yours in the comment section. Bengals, when I look at the four teams, again, I'll say it again. They're the team that doesn't really belong. They're the team that is the true underdog. And really, when I look at Joe Burrow, a first overall pick, I look at the roster. I look at what they do. I look at the Bengals as kind of like those Colts teams with Andrew Luck. That's the way I look at the Bengals right now. I look at the Bengals as those Colts teams. They're able to maybe upset a team or two. I just don't truly see them as a Super Bowl team. But they've got a quarterback who can overcome all of this stuff. And that is why they are where they are. So those are my takeaways from Bengals and Titans. The next game, we've got the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. You see the jersey in the back? Jimmy Garoppolo. You should have known when I told you the 49ers were going to go to Lambeau Field. Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be styling and profiling on his way down to the turf. I mean, did you see the fit on the way to the stadium? When you saw that, you should have known that I should have put all my money on the damn 49ers. The 49ers own Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, when he was drafted, said, the 49ers are going to regret not picking me. Well, the 49ers have actually been to more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers has been since Aaron Rodgers was drafted. How about that? How about that, Mr. Aaron Rodgers? The San Francisco 49ers are that team. Congratulations to 49er fans out there. But this is about the Packers. Don't get it twisted. This is about the Packers. I'll get back to the 49ers. But this is about the Packers. Aaron Rodgers has himself to blame. Himself to blame. There is not I'm going to be honest. There is not a single player in the NFL that I like to see lose more than Aaron Rodgers. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I don't know him. And I can't say I hate him because I don't know him. But from my vantage point, I don't like Aaron Rodgers. He's arrogant. He comes across as a prick, a dickhead. I just don't like the aura. I don't appreciate it. And he just comes across as if he just, like, when they win, it's all Aaron Rodgers. When they lose, it's everybody else's fault. See, I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I don't like something, when I don't like somebody, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to hide behind it. I'm not going to act as if I don't dislike that player. Bro, Aaron Rodgers only has himself to blame. Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams could have been sitting in the stands and he'd stare down Davante Adams in the stands to throw him the ball. Does Aaron Rodgers realize that he has other receivers on his team? Does he realize that he has to throw to another player during a game? If Davante Adams was in the bathroom, he would try to throw Davante Adams the ball. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then Aaron Rodgers. Oh, man. Aaron Rodgers, bro. This guy is so conservative. Do you know why Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a lot of interceptions? Guys, this is the player who one season threw the most throwaways in NFL history. He threw the ball away instead of taking a shot. Remember this. He had the most throwaways in NFL history. Aaron Rodgers doesn't... Here's the thing. Let's go all the way back to the NFC Championship game last year, right? So a lot of people came away from that game, not me, came away from that game saying that Aaron Rodgers outplayed Tom Brady last year. Okay? Even though that stats such as EPA suggested that Brady played better. Okay? And this is not meant to be a comparison between Brady and Rodgers. But this is the point of what I'm trying to say. In that game last year, Aaron Rodgers fell a couple plays short of winning the game. Even though I felt like the Bucs thoroughly outplayed them for most of the game, the Packers had a chance to win the game if they made a couple more plays. And yes, Brady threw a few interceptions. But the difference in that game was that Tom Brady was willing to make those throws because he knew that he had to win the game. And in the last two seasons, specifically, I've seen an Aaron Rodgers who's had home field, who's been the number one seed, who's had the bye, who's been rested. And Aaron Rodgers refuses to make the throw that will change the game. Everybody talks about his touchdown to interception ratio. Bro, it's a playoff game. I don't care if you throw 5 interceptions. If you win the game, that's all that matters. Let's stop talking about passer rating. Let's stop talking about completion percentage, bro. Talk about the win. What did the quarterback have to do to win? Okay? And Aaron Rodgers, I don't care. Bro, he's got to make a throw. In the last 2 years in these games in the playoffs, how many times has Aaron Rodgers passed up an opportunity to make a big-time throw or a big-time game-changing play by taking a sack, throwing the ball away, throwing the ball at the feet of a receiver, trying to force it to one player? Like, it just feels like every single time Aaron Rodgers just is unwilling to go out there and just put his nuts on the table and try to make that play no matter the result. No matter if he throws an interception. It's like he's playing as if he wants to protect his touchdown to interception ratio. I don't care about your touchdown to interception ratio. I don't care about your completion percentage. I don't care about your passer rating. All anyone cares about with you, Aaron Rodgers, is that you got to win a Super Bowl. That's all anybody cares about. And the reason you're not winning Super Bowls, despite having home field, despite having arguably the most talented team, despite having a bye, you've got everything that you need because you're unwilling to make the damn plays that are necessary to win the game. Take some chances. Nobody's won anything without taking some chances. You gotta be willing to take some chances. Aaron Rodgers not taking any chances. He'd rather throw it to Devontae Adams in the bathroom. Okay? Secondly, let's talk about LaFleur, who I have another name for him. But LaFleur. Matt LaFleur. Okay? This is how I knew Matt LaFleur was completely inept. And I said this during the live stream. Bro, Matt LaFleur, there was a play at the end of the game where Matt LaFleur was cheering the crowd to get louder. This was Matt LaFleur in the fourth quarter. Afix is right. Matt LaFraud. Bro, you're the head football coach of the Green Bay fucking Packers. Okay? You're not the fan hype up guy. They've got people in the stadium for that job. Your job is to be prepared. Your special teams is an absolute disaster. Disaster. This guy is hyping the crowd up in the biggest situation of the game. Meanwhile, his special teams is having a punt blocked, a field goal blocked. He's got 10 guys on the field the last play of the game. He's got one good offensive drive all game. His defense can't tackle Deebo Samuel. What are you doing? Your job is not to cheer. Packers fans don't need help cheering on the Packers. These fans are in negative weather. They paid how many hundreds of dollars to be there? They're all like Becca watching the Niners every week. Absolutely wasted. They don't need help getting amped up. Focus on your team. Focus on your fucking team, bro. This is the difference between Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur. Kyle Shanahan, it wasn't his greatest offensive game, and he's known as the offensive genius. The difference between Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur, not just is offensive scheming. This is the difference. Kyle Shanahan doesn't field a special teams that is this terrible for the whole season. And this is the difference. Why did the Niners beat the Packers, okay? Think about this. Kyle Shanahan lost his defensive coordinator last season, right? In the offseason. He lost Robert Saleh, who a lot of people thought was this epic defensive mind, right? This is the difference. Kyle Shanahan recognized that he had a hole at defensive coordinator, and he got the right person. He picked the right person to replace that guy. He picked the right person to replace Robert Saleh. He picked DeMeco Ryans. DeMeco Ryans has done a fantastic job with the defense. Okay? Kyle Shanahan is the head football coach. He is not the offensive coach. He's not the defensive coach. He is the head coach. I know a lot of us get caught up in the play calling aspects. Kyle Shanahan he finds the right coaches around him because he understands defense. He understands special teams. He doesn't just understand offensive coaching. Matt LaFleur is sitting here with the worst special teams in the NFL. He goes all season with the worst special teams in the league. And we want to call him a great coach. We want to sit here and say he's the coach of the year, Dan Orlovsky. PFF ranks him as the best coach in the league from a play calling perspective. You guys are a bunch of dummies for that. This guy, last year, had Mike Pettin the whole year. Didn't address it until they lost. This season, he has the worst special teams there is. Doesn't adjust it. Doesn't do anything about it. Meanwhile, we've got Shanahan, who loses one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL and finds a guy who's better. That's the reason the Niners beat the Packers. They beat them because of the coach. The coaching difference. What are you doing, LaFraud? Stop cheering the fan. They don't need help. Yes, I know Pettin was defense. I said he didn't fix Pettin last year until they lost. Then he got fired. This year, same deal. Same deal. Except it's special teams. This is not a prediction show. If you're here for predictions, then just leave. Sorry. This is a review. It says review in the title. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers has one good drive the whole game. Did Aaron Rodgers just fall asleep for the rest of the game and he just decided to take a nap? He had one drive at the beginning of the game, and then what happened? Punt, fumble, punt. What? Block, field goal. Did he just fall asleep? Where'd he go? It's like the game was won after the first drive of the game. By the way, Niners front four. Unbelievable game. Nick Bosa, 2 sacks. Eric Armstead, 2 sacks. Ebukam, incredible game. DJ Jones, good game. Unbelievable stuff from the front four. If the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl, front four is going to have to do it for them. And they were incredible. Give them a lot of credit. They pressured Aaron Rodgers. They made Aaron Rodgers see ghosts like Sammy Darnold. They made him see ghosts. And I knew the Niners were going to win when I started seeing that Aaron Rodgers face. When I started seeing that face. You know that face? I was saying it on the broadcast. You guys go back, watch the reactions. Watch the reactions. I was saying, this guy looks rattled. He's visually rattled. Visually rattled. At the offensive line, at the pressure. And that was because of what the 49ers were able to do. I don't know who coaches the Niners D-line off the top of my head, but that guy's great. Or that girl. I don't know who they've got. If you want my premium picks, you can subscribe to Patreon. Link is in the description. Appreciate it. Okay? The face of Aaron Rodgers said it all. I was sitting there watching the game saying, yeah, the Niners are going to win this game. Because this guy wants nothing to do with this game. He wants to go home. He wants to get on the Joe Rogan podcast and talk, bro. And I like the Joe Rogan podcast, by the way. Joe Rogan is great at his job. But he wants to go on the podcast. He wants to talk about how great he is. He doesn't want to get hit. He wants none of it, bro. He wanted none of it. He's done with it. He doesn't want it. The Niners wanted it. The Niners were Rocky Balboa and Rocky 1. And Aaron Rodgers was Apollo. That's what I look at it as. That's simple. Also, how many years do I have to say to you Packers fans? And I like you Packers fans. Honestly, bro, I feel bad for Packers fans because they've got an arrogant quarterback and they've got a franchise who continues to squander the talent and the team that they've got, and they've got a coach who is an idiot. So I feel bad for you guys. I really do. I like Packers fans. Okay? I say this every year. Every single year. I say, why are the Packers not doing their most to upgrade this football team in areas that are clearly lacking? Every single year. They come in the season with one receiver. How many years has it been that the Packers have not had a good number 2 receiver? Like, how many years do I have to talk about the off-season plan of the Packers being get a number 2 receiver? They don't have a number 2 receiver. They haven't for 5 years. Every year, I'm saying I don't think they can win the Super Bowl because when you play the best defenses in the league, you need another guy that can get open. You need 2 at least. At least. Why did Brady go to the Bucs? Because he was like, okay, they got Evans, they got Godwin, bro. Like, it's not that hard. MVS, he wasn't playing. He's a fine field stretcher. He's not great. Don't pretend that he's this great player, guys. Allen Lazard's another guy. He's just a guy. Randall Cobb is a shell of Randall Cobb. You didn't have Robert Tonyan out there. I'm going to get to McDermott. Oh, don't you worry about that guy. Bro, every year I sit to this GM. They don't have a receiver. They need a receiver. Every year. Every year. I don't know how many times I got to say this every single offseason. You need a number 2 receiver. And I'm sitting here as a Patriots fan. We don't even got one receiver. So how about that? I'll say this about the 49ers. 49ers should have scored way more points in this game. Jimmy Garoppolo's first quarter was his best quarter. It was his best quarter. He had like 5 guys drop passes. He had 2 plays in a row where they dropped the ball. There was a 4th and 1 where Elijah Mitchell just has to bounce it outside to the right and he's gone. He runs it right up the middle and gets stuffed. George Kittle drops a touchdown. Jimmy Garoppolo, by the way, I have no idea how the 49ers are still in the playoffs. Like, for Kyle, I said this last week, but for Kyle Shanahan to still be in the playoffs is unbelievable. Like, if this guy finds a way to get to the Super Bowl and then win the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, guys, I got the jersey here. Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing throws to the flat that took like 8 seconds, and there was at least 4 of them that should have been picked off. I'm like, oh my, how is this guy getting away with this? I felt like I was on Breaking Bad. How is he getting away with this? How did the 49ers continue to win with this quarterback guy? I mean, I like Jimmy, but bro, he was so bad in a lot of this game. He couldn't get the ball to the flat. He didn't have enough arm to throw it 5 yards to the right. They've won 2 playoff games, and the guy has 8 more turnover-worthy throws than big-time throws. It's unbelievable. How are they still doing this? I don't know. I do not know. And this was the worst Aaron Rodgers loss in the playoffs ever. Because he can't blame anybody. The defense was unbelievable in this game. I didn't expect the Packers defense to play like this. I didn't expect that at all. I thought the Niners would have some success running the ball. That did not happen very well. Packers defense played great. Played way better than the offense. Zadarius Smith was flying around. Rashawn Gary was great. Kenny Clark was a monster. Alexander looked healthy. By the way, that Trent Williams, as a tight end motion blocking was unbelievable. Love that. Do you guys realize that the 49ers have 5 seasons of NFC Championship appearances? Do you realize that? The 49ers have been to 5 NFC championships in recent history. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like every time the Niners have a good season, they're in the NFC championship. And every time they suck, they suck. What else do I got to say about this game? I thought Elijah Mitchell, Afik says, in 11 years. They have 5 NFC championship games in 11 years. 11. Elijah Mitchell, I thought, sucked in this game. I like Elijah Mitchell. I thought he played terrible. There were so many times where he didn't try to run through contact. There were so many times where he didn't see the right hole. There were so many times where he just didn't make the right play or didn't make an explosive play. I thought he sucked in this game. That's just me. But the 49ers have had Jimmy Garoppolo play terrible for 1.5 games and have beat the Cowboys and the Packers. If Jimmy Garoppolo plays good for 2 games, they're going to win the Super Bowl. They really are. I don't know how. They are in the NFC Championship and their quarterback has not played well. That's amazing to me. I don't know how they do it. And, okay, I want to say this about this, though. A lot of people are saying that Trey Lance should be playing. No. Do you guys even watch football? Have you watched Trey Lance play? Stop it. Stop. He's not ready yet. He's not ready. I know Jimmy looks bad. Trey Lance is not ready. Do I think he should have a few plays a game where maybe you put him in and run the ball with him? Sure. But no. Trey Lance should not be playing. Stop that narrative. I don't want to hear it anymore. Please stop. Okay? Lastly, we have a couple things to finish off this game. First, does this force Aaron Rodgers out the door? Does this force Aaron Rodgers out the door? Does this loss force Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay? And personally, when you look at the Packers, how they're constructed, and what their roster looks like, what their future looks like, it feels like Aaron Rodgers, but I have a couple things to say. So first, Aaron Rodgers, the right place to be for him for the future, for his most success, believe it or not, is Green Bay. Because when you look at the NFC, and I'm going to get to this more talking about Tom Brady, but when you look at the NFC entering next year and into the near future, it is a absolute shit show. Like, the NFC is so weak entering the near future. So weak. The AFC, on the other hand, is loaded. Like, the AFC, if Rodgers thinks he's going to go to the Steelers or the Broncos and have an easy way to the Super Bowl, he's losing his mind. You got to deal with Josh Allen. You got to deal with Bill Belichick. You've got to deal with Burrow. You got to deal with Herbert. You got to deal with Mahomes. You got to deal with Lamar. You've got to deal with a lot more over there. The Green Bay Packers, as Zeke brings up here, they're in a bad cap spot. I understand that. But if Aaron Rodgers is smart, he would understand that the NFC is the place to be in the near future. That's what he would understand. Secondly, though, do I think he's going to leave? Probably, most likely. I just look at it. I don't think he has a good relationship with the general manager. I don't think he respects the way that they have run the organization, despite them building a very good team around him. I think a lot of this stuff is incorrect. I think a lot of the stuff, I just think they need to separate. I think it might be good for both sides, to be honest with you, but he's going to want to bring Devontae Adams wherever he goes. You know that. The Colts, says Gaming. I mean, that could happen. Colts could happen, but man, feel bad for Packers fans. You've had Brett Favre, who I like a lot more than Aaron Rodgers, but you've had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and you only have 2 Super Bowl wins. How many years? That's just mismanagement in some way, shape, or form, and It sucks to see that, to be honest with you. Now, as a transition, what beat Rodgers and Brady? Okay, I learned this week. Rodgers and Brady were eliminated because of front four. Both Brady and Rodgers were eliminated this week because of front four pressure. Period. The reason why the Bucs and the Packers are no longer playing is because of the pass rush of the Rams and the 49ers. At its core, when you look at the one common trait here, the reason that Brady and Rodgers are not playing, stripping away injuries, is because of front four. That is the purest way to impact these great quarterbacks. Pressure. Pressure, pressure, pressure. And that to me was the story of the Rams and the Bucs game. It really was. So let's take a look. And Nathan, I completely disagree with you. So let's talk about it. So to me, this game, and the Packers game, really, I talked about it many weeks. Brady's the MVP of the league. I think he proved that in this game, I think. So, and on top of that, the Packers game. But not really to do with that. Let's start with this, with the Bucs and the Rams, okay? This was by far the worst officiated game of the weekend, and it wasn't even close. Like, I don't know what it is with Hockley, but the guy's got a massive ego. Like, an absolutely insurmountable ego, this guy. This guy was just calling personal fouls and tauntings for fun. In an NFL Divisional Round game, he's calling taunting penalties. Meanwhile, Tyreek Hill is running down the right sideline to give the Chiefs a lead in the AFC Divisional Round, going like this, and there's no penalty. So NFL, I'd just like to say this. Can your refs be consistent across the board throughout the playoffs? And can you not have refs in charge of games that have as big of an ego as Sean Hockley does? This guy didn't ruin the game. I won't go that far. The right team won the game, okay? The right team won this game between the Bucs and the Rams. The right team won. But The ref was so bad. Okay? There were so many calls in this game. The taunting penalties. It's my least favorite penalty in all of sports. Why? A player makes a play, right? And then what is your reaction to the play? Your reaction is to celebrate, right? It's to be emotional. You're stripping out emotion from this game. You're stripping personality out of this game by flagging people for their human reaction. You're assessing 15 yards onto an emotional human reaction. It is ridiculous. Then we've got, in the first time in the history of the NFL, where a receiver gets hit in the head and they call it a dead spot foul. Again, I'm not complaining that the Bucs lost because of this call. This is not what I'm saying. I have never seen that before. Since they've put this rule in place, there has not been one moment where they have called that the way that they called it. And then we've got Tom Brady getting a personal foul or whatever for bleeding and then complaining about it. When we see penalties for roughing the passer when a guy puts his finger on another guy's helmet. He got a penalty for abusive language. First of all, grow up. You're an NFL ref. Second of all, the guy is bleeding. Maybe you made the wrong call, you asshole. Stop. If you want to be an NFL ref, stop with the ego. I don't need it watching the game, bro. I don't need this shit. I don't need it. So that's just the beginning of this game. But unsportsmanlike, thank you, Caesar. That is the correct flag. But that was by far the worst referee game of the week. And it's not even close. It kind of ruined the excitement of the game in a couple spots. Now, I want to say this. I am very happy that the Bucs fought their way back into the game and made it entertaining. Not only was it absolutely one of the most unique games I've ever seen, because it was 27-3, it became 27-27, and then the team that gave up the lead won 30-27. But, okay, first off, Negan, what are you talking about? Okay, so there is a flag called roughing the passer. When a guy gets hit to the head, it's a roughing the passer call. And it's a helmet-to-helmet call. That's another flag. So what are you talking about? Shut the F up, bro. Anyways, continuing my rant. I respect the Bucs a ton. Their roster. I want to make this very specific. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers players, I respect the heck out of them. They played their asses off. These guys played their asses off. And they went out like champions. They fought with a ton of heart. They showed why they were the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. They came all the way back from 27-3. They said, we're not going out like that. With guys going down left, right, center, everywhere. Everybody's getting hurt. Everybody's dealing with an injury at this point after these 2 playoff runs. The Bucs managed to fight themselves back into the game, scratch and claw, and still find a way to make this entertaining. So, I applaud the Buccaneers players. I applaud them. That was an epic effort. It didn't result in a win, but it was an epic effort by them. And I want to say this. Everybody that was in my live stream, you guys are a bunch of jackasses. Everybody was saying, oh, the game's over. The game's over. It's over. Have you ever watched Tom Brady play a game? This is like my dad every time he watches Tom Brady play. I have never seen a guy who's seen Tom Brady play more and still doubt that he's going to come back. How many times, time after time after time, Tom Brady's down? Just don't say anything until the game is over. How hard is it? How many times do we got to see the guy come back for us to just leave it alone? Let the game play out. Don't say the game is over until the fat lady has sung, okay? Until Elvis leaves the building, do not say the game is over with this guy. The game is never over with this dude. It's not. It's never over. He almost came back from 27-3. This team almost came back from 27-3. He came back from 28-3. It looked like a disaster. It looked like the Rams were going to run away with it. But even then, you can't say that. It's never over. Now, the main thing is that Tristan Wirfs' injury was probably the biggest loss of this playoffs and probably the resulting biggest factor why the Bucs lost this game, because this was one of the best pass rushing performances I've seen in my life from the Rams. This was unbelievable. They pressured Tom Brady on more than 44% of dropbacks. Aaron Donald was unbelievable. Von Miller went in a time machine. Leonard Floyd was great. Greg Gaines was great. Ashawn Robinson. Everybody that rushed the passer was great. Tom Brady, I tweeted this out earlier, despite getting rid of the ball at 2.2 seconds, which would be faster than the fastest release time this regular season, which was 2.5 by Tom Brady, was pressured 28 out of 50 times in this game. The Rams were relentless with their four-man rush. And this wasn't like they were sending a ton of blitzes either. They were managing to be able to have great coverage with great pass rush at the same time. So the reason the Rams won this game is because of their pass rush. Point blank, period. And it was magnified. It was multiplied by the offensive line of Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's offensive line without Tristan Wirfs fell apart. Why? Because with Tristan Wirfs, he is special. You could put him on an island. You can ask him to even block one of the best in Von Miller one-on-one, and he'll do so. But what happened without Tristan Wirfs is that Donovan Smith at left tackle wasn't able to get the double teams. They had to shift the double team to the right side with Josh Wells. Josh Wells was still giving up pressure on top of Donovan Smith getting his ass kicked by Von Miller all game. And this was very rare because typically, what does everybody talk about with Tom Brady, right? The most effective pressure is interior pressure. Now, there was interior pressure by the Rams in this game, but the edge pressure by the Rams was unbelievable in this game. And it wasn't really like the Rams were coming around the corner. It was they were suffocating the pocket. They were powering their way to the quarterback. They were compressing the edges into Brady to make it hard for him to step into throws, move around the pocket, maneuver the pocket for him to throw the ball. This guy was getting rid of the ball in 2.2 seconds and was still pressured 28 times. So if you're looking at a team, guys, that should be looked at as very dangerous, it's the LA Rams. Because the LA Rams have a front four that is dangerous. They can win a game by themselves. On top of that, they've got Jalen Ramsey in the secondary. They've got a very good offense. We'll get to their offense in a second. But their defense looks really, really good. And then you got to talk about Tampa Bay. Let's continue to talk about Tampa Bay, and then we'll get to the Rams. Okay? So first, Tampa Bay's receivers. So bad. Other than Mike Evans, everybody was bad. Scotty Miller was all right. I'll give Scotty Miller some credit. I want to say this about the coaching staff of the Bucs. We're going to get more into them. I've got a lot more to say about this game and the coaching staff, but I don't know why Scotty Miller wasn't playing all season long. Like, the guy proved in this game last year, like, he deserves to play. Like, give him some reps. The fact that you're playing Tyler Johnson over him, clearly Tyler Johnson played terrible the whole season. He was terrible. He was game after game after game. After you watched the Saints game on Sunday Night Football, you should have known that Tyler Johnson wasn't the way to go. Scotty Miller was the guy the whole time. You never gave him a chance until this game. Tyler Johnson was terrible in this game. Cam Brate lost a step. OJ Howard is like not even a factor at all. He's bad. Like the receiving core for the Bucs. Think about this. So they lost Chris Godwin, who is a great player, and we knew they were going to miss him, and they did. No doubt. They did in this game. With Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs, I truly believe that the Bucs are the best team in football. They would have won the Super Bowl. Okay? But injuries happen, okay? And that's what happened. Injuries happen in football. You've got to be able to overcome it. The Bucs weren't able to. They just didn't have enough. So Tampa Bay had Mike Evans, right? They lost Chris Godwin. Brashad Perryman was inactive, who was supposed to be their number 2 receiver. Cyril Grayson, who kind of developed rapport with Brady at the end of the year, also was inactive. Tyler Johnson got hurt in the game. They had John Brown on the sidelines, who hadn't played all season for any team in the NFL. Cam Brate was playing wide receiver in this game because they had no receivers left. So Brady lost his number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 wide receivers. And number 6, because I didn't even include Antonio Brown. So Tom Brady this season lost Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Brashad Perryman, Cyril Grayson, and Tyler Johnson by the end of the season. That's unbelievable. All they had left was Mike Evans and then Gronk at tight end. I think if they would have won this game somehow, they would have lost the next week. They're just too hurt. Like, they just couldn't hold up. It was so much. They had no receivers left. They had nobody left. I just credit them for somehow. It looked like they never had a hope in this game, and somehow they fought their way back. Defensively, Ndamukong Suh, man. Ndamukong Suh is so good. Nobody talks about Ndamukong Suh. He was the best Buck defender in this game, in my opinion. He had 4 quarterback hits. He had a huge strip sack. He was a force all game. He's like 35 years old. He's a Hall of Famer. Suh was unbelievable. Suh is a beast. Suh, go to the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Mike Evans proved why he's a Hall of Famer in this game. Burnt by the best corner in the NFL for a 55-yard touchdown. Was followed by Jalen Ramsey the whole game for the most part. And had over 100 yards. Mike Evans to the Hall of Fame. So, those guys stood out to me. Man. Now let's talk about the Rams, and then we'll get to the end of the game sort of stuff. So, another thing about the Bucs. Can Pinion kick the ball inbounds? You got one job, bro. You're kicking the ball off. All you got to do is get it within a 50-yard surface. Can you do that? Can you do that? That's all you've got to do. Is get it within these 50 yards. The guy kicks the ball out of bounds 2 times in the game to give the Rams the ball at the 40-yard line. How hard is it to kick the ball in bounds? You've got one job. And then Arians is sitting there with... He's sitting there. Why doesn't he just have Suckup kick the ball? This guy is kicking the ball out of bounds. He can't even kick it within the damn surface of the play. Pinion, you got one job, man. One. Thank you, Lenny, for the super chat. Thank you. He says, the 1 year Brady gets unlucky, you praise him. Okay, back to praising Brady, okay? This is what I'll say about Brady. Last thing about Brady, because everyone doesn't like me talking about Brady. No other quarterback in the NFL right now could have done what Brady did in this game. And what I mean by that is, could have put up 27 points with this amount of pressure. Because we've seen it before, factually. We've seen it. Aaron Rodgers didn't do it versus the Niners. He put up 10 points versus the Niners with pressure. Mahomes didn't even put up a touchdown with pressure in the Super Bowl. This was historic levels of pressure, and somehow Tom Brady still put up 27 points. That shows you why he's the best quarterback still. Okay? And I don't want to hear anything else about it. It's because of his processing speed. The fact that he gets rid of the ball at 2.2 seconds is impeccable. But enough about Brady, okay? He's great. We'll talk about whether he's going to come back. Let's talk about Matthew Stafford. Okay, so a lot of people were picking the Bucs, not because they thought the Bucs were a better team, but because they thought that Matthew Stafford would choke, right? So I think a lot of people need to pull back their takes about Matthew Stafford. I've been a Matthew Stafford guy for a long time, and I've continuously seen him have these moments in meaningless games. Matthew Stafford has had a lot of these moments. If you guys follow the channel, you understand what I'm talking about. There have been games where Matthew Stafford has scored continuously. There's been more than one game. Like this, the fact that they got a field goal off with 40 seconds left, I've seen that a lot of times with Matthew Stafford in Detroit. How many times did the Lions win a game with Matt Prater kicking a 50-yard field goal with like 30 seconds left on the clock? Matthew Stafford goes down the field and they get a timeout or a spike, and then they kick a field goal for the game-winning kick. That's happened so many times. But it just so that it happened in a big game. It happened in a divisional round game. It happened in a playoff game. He was able to make 2 plays, get his team in range for the kick, and win the game. And Stafford didn't just win the game at the end, he also won the game at the beginning. He didn't make the key mistake that everyone thought that he would make. He didn't throw the interception. He didn't have the fumble. He didn't make the key mistake. The bad snap was on his center, Brian Allen. It was not on Matthew Stafford. His running back continuously let him down. Continuously. Matthew Stafford was great in this game. He effectively delivered on the short passing script of Sean McVay. Time after time, third down after third down, big throw after big throw, he made the play. He made the play. He did all that he could to win this game. From start to finish. There was no moment in this game where I said, Matthew Stafford's going to lose this game for the Rams. Every time they got the ball, he was good. He didn't have one slip up. Not one. So Matthew Stafford deserves all the praise because a lot of people, especially, I'm shouting out, I'm calling out Pro Football Focus once again. They're still not going to give him credit, by the way. But these guys at Pro Football Focus, which I love what they do, okay? They continuously rip on Matthew Stafford and say that this guy is not better than Jared Goff. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you watch football? Like, what? Anyways, okay, Jared Goff. What was the big problem with Jared Goff with the Rams, right? He was good in the system. He could never deliver a big play. He could never come through under pressure. Matthew Stafford's been the best quarterback this year versus the blitz. He's been the best quarterback this year versus the blitz. What was the play that always gave Jared Goff problems? Zero blitz. What did Todd Bowles do on the last play of the game? Zero blitz Matthew Stafford, and he made him pay. That's the difference between Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. That's the difference. And that's why the Rams trade paid off. If Jared Goff had to play this game versus the Bucs, the Rams lose the game. They lose. Absolutely, positively, without a shadow of a doubt, they lose the game. With Matthew Stafford, they win the game. Because he's able to make those big-time throws that Jared Goff isn't. In the moments where he's pressured, he makes the throw. Time after time after time, he's done it this year for them. And I understand he's had bad games. I understand he's thrown some interceptions. But this has been more about Stafford than any area of this football team. You think about it, right? Last year, the Rams were all about their defense. This year, their defense hasn't really gotten to its best until the playoffs. Stafford really carried a lot of this team throughout the regular season. And now they've become a complete team around Matthew Stafford. Now let's get to the running back position. What is Sean McVay doing putting Cam Akers into the backfield time after time after time? What is he doing? You've got Sony Michel, who's been really good for you this season. Really good. There's not this massive drop-off between Cam Akers and Sony Michel. And you know what Sony Michel doesn't do? Fumble. Sony Michel does not fumble the ball in big moments, especially. Sony Michel has played in playoff games. Sony Michel has won the Super Bowl. Sony Michel has had the most yards in a Super Bowl run since Terrell Davis in 1998. And you won't play this guy? Cam Akers fumbles the first time. I'm taking him out of the game. What are you doing? He fumbled 3 fucking times, bro. Sean McVay, you trying to lose this game? What are you doing? Get your head out of your fucking ass, dude. What is he doing? Sean McVay almost blew this game because he refused to sit his running back on the bench because his ego is too big. You've got Sony Michel. Georgia. Clutch. New England. Clutch. Put him in the game. What are you doing, you idiot? You want to lose the game? You just want to keep... here, GOAT. Here's the ball. You want the ball? Here you go. Here, Tom, here. Take it. We don't want it anymore. We don't need it. You can have it. You want to win the game? Here. Have the ball. But Cam, I'm just going to keep giving Cam the ball. Here you go. Oh, I fumbled it. Sorry, coach. Oh, second time. I fumbled it again. You still don't sit him. You still don't sit him. 2 fumbles and you still don't sit him. What are you doing? Brady, you want the ball back? We'll give you the ball back. You want to win? Here you go. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing, Sean McVay? What are you doing? So bad. Okay, another difference in this game is Joseph Noteboom. You might not know who that is. Replacement left tackle for Andrew Whitworth. What did I just complain about? Donovan Smith sucked. The right tackle of Wirfs, Josh Wells, sucked. Awful. Horrendous. Terrible. Andrew Whitworth out of this game. Joseph Noteboom replaces him, plays the best game of his career. Best game of his career. Joe, it's not that hard. It is not that hard. You think Bill Belichick would put Cam Akers back in the game after he fumbled? In the playoffs? This isn't the regular season. This isn't week 3. This is the playoffs. You don't put the... Especially when you've got 3 running backs that are all like the same talent level. It's not like this guy is Barry fucking Sanders, okay? Joseph Noteboom was a huge difference. The Rams were able to protect Stafford a lot better than the Bucs were able to protect Brady. And I give McVay credit for preparing his offensive line and his game plan to do so. That's the difference between him and Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians lost this game. Bruce Arians was terrible. It is bad news that Bruce Arians is returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Terrible news. Bruce Arians came into the game versus Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, and didn't have a plan. He didn't have a plan. He never adjusted. He never did anything to help his quarterback. And then, not only did he not protect Tom Brady, his biggest asset, on the other side, he didn't say, hey, Todd, maybe you should stop blitzing. This is not just on Todd Bowles. Everybody's getting after Todd Bowles. And Todd Bowles didn't have a good game. And Todd Bowles made some bad calls. Okay? But this is the head football coach. What did I talk about with Matt LaFleur? What did I say? You're the head football coach. Your team's got to be prepared in these situations. You should be going to Todd Bowles and saying what should happen. So, Todd Bowles blitzes, right? He's blitzing all day. It's not working. As a coaching staff, you've got to adjust in the middle of the game. And then the last drive of the game, you blitz him and you don't double team Cooper Kupp. Guys, it's not that hard. It is not that hard. I could go to any person that watches the Rams play and say, who's going to get the ball? Who's going to get the ball with the game on the line? What player is going to get the ball? Which one? Who? Cooper Kupp, right? Cooper Kupp's going to get the ball. Take him out of the game. What are you doing? Why are you one-on-one Cooper Kupp with your worst cornerback on the first play, Sean Murphy bunting, and then the second play, you've got a safety. You've got a safety covering Cooper Kupp, the leading receiver, Triple Crown receiver, on the play for your season. You've got a safety. I don't care who this safety is. You've got a safety covering him. I like Todd Bowles. What are you doing? Bruce Arians, why are you not going to Todd Bowles and saying what needs to happen? Todd, double team Kupp. I don't want him getting the ball. In order to not lose this game, we've got to protect Brady. We've got to have more play action. They didn't use any play action. We've got to have more screen passes. I think I saw 3. We've got to run the ball more. They got away from the run at the end of the first quarter when it was working at the beginning of the first quarter. Brutal coaching. The Bucs, brutal coaching. I have zero. I got nothing to say. They deserve to lose the game. It is a miracle that Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with Bruce Arians as his coach. He's out to lunch. He's senile. He doesn't know what's going on. I don't think he does anything. He doesn't do anything. What does he do? What does if Arians is the head football coach, he doesn't call plays on offense or defense. He doesn't do anything on offense. That's Byron Leftwich. He doesn't do anything on defense. That's Todd Bowles. What does Bruce Arians do? What is he responsible for? It hell is not as for adjustments. He doesn't do that. It's not for beating the Saints. He doesn't do that either. And when it comes time for the end of the game, he doesn't talk to his coordinators and say, yo, maybe we should get Cooper Kupp on the double team here. Maybe we should kick the ball inbounds for them to waste time. Arians, 0 negative credit. The Bucs won a Super Bowl in spite of Arians, not because of Arians. 0. Did nothing. Does nothing. Means nothing. Absolutely terrible. Awful. Carson Palmer is higher in my all-time quarterback rankings now that I've seen this guy up close and personal. Brutal. Again, the Rams deserve to win this game. They played better. They aided the Bucs comebacks through mistakes. But part of that was Sean McVay being a jackass. And then the only reason the Rams end up winning is because Arians is incompetent. No situational awareness. Guys, Matt Gay missed a kick from 47 yards. He was short. He was short from 47 yards away. He didn't make it to the bar. He wasn't wide right. He wasn't wide left. You send a 0 blitz. What are you doing? Rally and tackle. Force the ball inbounds, rally and tackle. Play 2-man deep and double cup. It's not that hard. It is not that hard. I could do this. It's stupid. It is so bad. Anybody that watches football would know what to do in this scenario. I swear, if I see Cam Akers get the ball one more time in the second half, I'm going to lose my mind. Lose my mind. Absolutely brutal. Sean McVay, what are you doing? What are you doing? But the Rams, Von Miller, OBJ, Matthew Stafford, these moves have paid off for them so far. Durkant says that every time the Bucs lose, it's the coach's fault. Mostly. But I also talked about it earlier. I'm not sure if you were here, but a lot of it had to do with the personnel issues that they had due to injuries. But they didn't prepare their team well enough without those players, which to me says you're being carried by talent. You're being carried by talent. Absolutely, positively. Any Bucs fans would tell you that. All right. Final game. The Chiefs and the Bills. More terrible coaching and mismanagement. But a game that was the epitome of a new era quarterback. Defining an era of quarterbacks. Defining an era of offense. Bills, Chiefs. And this is, so far, we've only had 2 years, but so far, this is the game of the decade. The Chiefs and the Bills. What we saw last night between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. My overall takeaways from the game. First, Josh Allen is unbelievable. I mean, this guy, I already knew. You guys know, go back into the videos. I was telling you about Josh Allen before Josh Allen even made his way to the NFL. I was saying Josh Allen's that guy. Nobody believed me. And for some reason, people didn't believe Josh Allen was elite until like yesterday. Like I saw people tweeting like that Josh Allen is now a top 5 quarterback. Like what earth have you been on for like the last 2 years? What NFL have you been watching? I saw people say that he's a top 3 quarterback now. Like, bro, where have you been? Where have you been? Have you been living under a rock? Where have you been in a coma? Where have you been? Anyways, I don't know what people are doing with their lives if they're watching the NFL, but I don't know how you come to that conclusion just yesterday. I can understand if you're a casual fan, that's fine. But like if you do this for a living, I don't know how you come to that. But anyways, game of the decade, defining an era. Josh Allen, again, the best one-man show in the NFL. And to me, I thought he was the better quarterback in this game. A lot of people were praising Mahomes as they should. He won the game. He played great. I thought Josh Allen was even better, which is crazy to say because Mahomes played really well. But Allen, what he's doing, like running the ball and throwing the ball and making people miss and having a worse offensive line out there, and they're not able to block the Chiefs all game. I think a big reason the Chiefs were able to win this game is because of the pressure that they got in this game. Like, who invited Melvin Ingram? Melvin Ingram was a terror in this game. This guy was Reggie Whiting people. He was throwing people with one arm to the left onto the turf. Like, Allen's having to run around on 4th and 13 trying to find a play. Meanwhile, I gotta say this about Spagnuolo. Hey, Todd Bowles, maybe you should take a page out of Spagnuolo's book and double team the best player on the field. That's Stephon Diggs. For a majority of the day, Spagnuolo double teamed Stephon Diggs. And he said to Josh Allen, you've got to beat us with somebody else. Todd, check the tape. Do that to Cooper Kupp. Arians, understand that if he's not, it's your responsibility as the head coach to do that. To tell him that you should be double teaming Cooper fucking Kupp. Okay? Stephon Diggs was doubled all game. Mahomes was great. But back to the Bills for a second here. Everyone's talking about Mahomes in my chat. Josh Allen as the one-man show. He's the running game. He's the passing game. And he's dicing up the Chiefs defense, who's getting pressure in his face with Gabe Davis and Cole Beasley. Gabe Davis, I mean, oh my goodness. Gabriel Davis had 200 yards and 4 touchdowns in this game. 4 touchdowns. 200 yards. What a game for him. That route for that touchdown was unbelievable. He played a hell of a game. I think he firmly secured his place as, where we put him. Because a lot of times he's had some good games. He's been fairly inconsistent. But I mean, unbelievable. He was so good. But yeah, I felt like the better quarterback was Allen. But I felt like the better team was the Chiefs. When you look at the Chiefs, I thought their D-line outperformed the Bills' D-line. They got pressure after pressure after pressure in big spots. They forced a couple of stops in that regard. I thought that Spagnuolo did a better job than McDermott and who's the D coordinator for the Bills. Can't remember his name for the moment. Can picture him in my head, but can't remember his name for some reason. So the coverage for the Chiefs wasn't great, but they at least did a good job of making the Bills' offense play left-handed. And it felt like every single play for the Bills on offense was Leslie Frazier, thank you. Every single play for the Bills on offense was difficult, right? Every conversion was difficult. With the Chiefs, it felt easy. And some of that is because of Andy Reid. Some of that is because of how good the Chiefs are on offense. But the Bills defense, allowed a lot of this stuff. I mean, and that's where I think this game really comes down to. I think that the Chiefs did a better job of forcing the Bills to play left-handed. And the Chiefs were still able to get Hill and Kelsey to be the priority of the offense, to be able to make all these big plays. Tyreek Hill was unstoppable in the game. He had 11 catches for 150 yards and a touchdown. He's the most big play weapon. He's the most explosive weapon. He's arguably still the best receiver in the game because of this game. I've been saying this for years, but just what he's able to do at any point in a game to change a game from any area of the field. It could be a screen, it could be a return, it could be a deep ball, it could be anything. Anything. And Tyreek Hill will make you pay. The Chiefs outcoached the Bills. This is why they won the game. Everybody's talking about the overtime. Everybody is talking about the overtime, okay? The overtime has nothing to do with it. The reason the Bills lost is because they got outcoached. They got outcoached from a game plan perspective. The Bills did nothing to slow down Tyreek Hill. They did nothing to slow down Travis Kelce. Nothing, nada, not one thing. Not one thing. They did nothing. And then, in a situational part of the game, what do the Bills do? Sean McDermott doesn't kick the ball and bounce. This is football 101. Al Davis is rolling in his grave right now. John Madden is rolling in his grave. How do you let this happen? You don't kick the ball and bounce for 6 seconds to come off the clock. I don't care how good the Chiefs are. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then, on the 2 plays, Pat Mahomes is good. Don't make it easy. He just throws an easy screen pass for 20 yards. Nobody's even in the area to tackle him. Bro. Sean McDermott is playing sideline defense. Leslie Frazier is playing sideline defense. And the Chiefs have 2 timeouts. What? What are you doing? Guys, I don't know if you know this, but a timeout stops the clock. A timeout stops a clock. Are you serious? You're defending the sidelines when they don't care about the sidelines. They care about yards to get a field goal to tie the game. So the Bills, you have nothing to blame but yourselves for your stupidity, for your stupid coaching. You clearly didn't prepare for this all week long, all off-season long. You didn't prepare for this moment in this game versus this team. The reason you lost is not because of the overtime rules. Who cares about the overtime rules? You had 13 seconds left. Your quarterback put you in a position to win. 13 seconds. You don't do the right thing on special teams. Okay? Then, you play sideline defense. You allow Tyreek Hill to get up the field. And then, the play after that, let's just let the best tight end in the NFL to run down the seam wide open with no press and get an easy completion for a field goal. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? This makes no sense. All you gotta do is play press man with 2 or 3 safeties deep. Bro, why are you rushing 4? Mahomes is throwing the ball right away. He's got to throw the ball right away. He can't run around because there's only 10 seconds left in the game. There's only 10 seconds. Who cares? Rush zero. Rush zero. Who cares? He's going to throw the ball right away. Why are you rushing 4? Rush 3, get 2 deep, and play press man. If you take a holding call, who cares? It's 5 yards. Bro! What are you doing? Why are you allowing this right in the middle of the field to their best players? It's not like this was Byron Pringle running a seam down. Like, what are you doing? This is so bad. Like, this was worse than wide right. Worse than wide right. Worse than wide right. You blew it, Sean McDermott. You blew it. The details were off. You play press. You force Mahomes to hold the ball. Why? Why? Because the time. The time. You don't... Madden players got better clock management than these idiots, man. Better clock management than these guys, bro. It's unbelievable. Forced Mahomes to hold the ball. He doesn't... I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Superman. This is... Sean McDermott is a defensive coach. You lost the game, dude. You lost the game because you're an idiot. I already brought up the Tyreek Hill taunting, but that was more to do with the Bucs and Rams game, which was stupid. And every single person on the Bills let down Josh Allen except for Gabe Davis and Cole Beasley. That's it. Now Tyreek Hill again, game changer. Travis Kelce came through again, clutch. Mahomes played a great game. I've been very critical. Mahomes' season, I don't think he's played very well this year. But when it mattered most, he had his best game this year. And you've got to credit him for that. You've got to give him a hand of applause. And what I will say about this is Mahomes played differently than he has in the past, right? So statistically, 2.3% of Patrick Mahomes' attempts were deep. So 20 yards and over. That's the lowest rate of his career. 75% of his throws were between 1 and 10 yards. So Mahomes learned from his mistakes in the past. Mahomes learned from his mistakes of holding on to the ball. Mahomes learns from his mistakes from forcing the downfield throw. Mahomes improved. He learned. And you've got to credit him for doing so. Even though it's not as pretty or impressive as throwing the bomb down the field for the touchdown, he dinked and dunked his way to a victory in this one. He dink and dunked his way to a victory. But it doesn't matter that it's a dink and dunk. Because what matters the most? A win. That's what matters. Nobody cares. Okay? So, credit him for doing that, showing evolution, and showing evolution from Andy Reid's perspective. Andy Reid did a great job of evolving this offense and having more abilities to... Guys, dinking and dunking is not a bad thing. It actually can be a very good thing. I'm not saying dinking and dunking is a bad thing. That's a great thing. If it works, it works. Who cares if it's dinking and dunking? It worked, right? 75% of his throws were between 1 and 10 yards. That's the highest of his career. And it was effective. It was efficient. It worked. Who cares if he completed it and if it got a first down and if it got touchdowns? Who cares? That's the way to play. That's the way the Bills forced you to play, and you beat them that way. That's what you do. See, this is in our minds, we think it's negative. No, it's positive. It's positive. Okay? Because the Mahomes of the past wouldn't have been able to do that. He wouldn't have done that. He was a big reason they lost the Super Bowl last year because he refused to do that. He was inviting pressure. This year, he got rid of the ball. He found the first read. He went to it. He found the second read underneath. And he completed the pass. And he moved on. If the deep ball wasn't there, he got to his check down. Okay. And with Andy Reid again, got to give Andy Reid praise, on both sides. I mean, a lot of open receivers in this game. But, like, Mahomes does what I think one of Mahomes' best features. Andy Reid's a great schemer, and he's always going to find ways to get guys open. But what Mahomes does to magnify that and multiply it is his ability to buy the extra second or two to get that guy from open to wide open. You know what I mean? Like, his ability to move around the pocket and then escape the pocket and have, let's say there's a crosser coming across the field. He's open and then wide open. finds the vacancy in the zone, and Mahomes hits him for an easy completion. Mahomes isn't the most accurate passer, but what he's really good at is vision. What he's really good at is patience. That's what he's really good at. And his arm angles in this game showed off how special he is as a thrower with his ability to throw around people, throw through people, see guys when they're not necessarily wide open, and thread the needle. So, I thought Mahomes had his best game of the season. And he needed it because Josh Allen was unbelievable in this game. Unbelievable in this game. Like, Josh Allen deserved to win this game. But McDermott stripped it right from him. Stripped it right from him. And the thing I will say about this, a lot of people are talking about, like, the Bills had the number one defense. Guys, I get it statistically. First off, there wasn't a good defense this year, like, across the NFL. But when you look at both the defenses, the Chiefs, what I like about their defense, I like their corners. I like their pass rush better than the Bills. The Bills have good safeties. They have good linebackers, right? But the Chiefs' corners and D-line is better. So, like, when you look at it, it's pretty even on both sides. And I thought Spagnuolo did a better job than, okay, Durkant, we get it. Romo and Nats, like, who cares? Like, relax. What else? Yeah, so everyone's going to talk about the overtime rules. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. Kansas City fans, don't worry about it. You won because the Bills messed it up at the end. Like, you won because the Bills messed it up. Like, don't even... Overtime rules are overtime rules. Just as you lost to the Patriots, same thing happened. Like, not the same thing, because you didn't really mess that up. But, like, this game, the Bills messed it up at the end. 13 seconds. They mismanaged it. Your coaches outcoached them. And you put yourself in a position to win the game in overtime. Jake says the overtime rules are trash. I mean, they are what they are. So you knew that coming into the game. They are what they are. Is it frustrating? Yes. Do I wish they were different? Sure. But they are what they are. So you just got to deal with the circumstances. Play better defense. You got 13 seconds left in the fucking game, bro. You got 13 seconds left. Like, all you got to do is kick the ball in bounds, play press man coverage, and the game's over. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. So, congratulations to the Chiefs for winning the game of the year, the game of the decade. And congrats to them. They're moving on to the AFC Championship, where they're heavily favored, as they should be. They should beat the Bengals. The only thing I didn't like about this game coming out of it is that this was the Super Bowl. Like, no. We've seen teams before play these games where it looks like the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl. It's not always the case because the best team doesn't always win, as we've seen before with the 2007 Patriots and many others. Best team doesn't always win. It's who performs on that day. So looking at it now and wrapping up that discussion, I think that the two best teams are the Rams and the Chiefs. I think that should be the Super Bowl. I think that would be a very entertaining game that could go either way. 49ers wouldn't surprise me if they made it and won, but they would have to get Jimmy Garoppolo to play good, which is a stretch. In some ways, it feels like the Rams' year to win because it's at home, the Matthew Stafford stuff, the way that he won this game. It does kind of feel like it's the Rams' year to win, but it's hard to doubt the Chiefs with how Mahomes played in that game versus the Bills. It's hard to doubt it. So, I could see 3 of the 4 teams winning the Super Bowl, the lowest odds being the Niners out of those 3. I think it would be an absolutely incredible achievement by Kyle Shanahan to win the Super Bowl this year. If they can beat Green Bay, they can beat Dallas, they can beat anybody, right? They can beat anybody. Will Burrow and Mahomes live up to Allen and Mahomes? I don't think so. I just don't think Burrow has a good enough team. I don't think they do. The Rams look really good. If you're talking about who's the most balanced team in football, it's the Rams. They've got a great pass rush. They've got a secondary that understands. They play a plethora of coverages. They disguise their coverages very well. Their coaches are smart. They play situational, good special teams. They run the ball. They pass the ball. They've got multiple receiving threats. The Rams look like the best roster, most balanced team. They remind me a little bit of the Bucs last year. And they're healthy, right? The Chiefs, they've got the best offense. They've got the best quarterback left. They've got the best coach arguably left. A great receiver, a great tight end. But their defense definitely does scare me at times with how they've played. And the 49ers just are feisty as hell, man. And they're very unique. Jake, thank you for the $5. He says, thanks, Mitch, for bringing us this content. This is all hot topics with a lot of fans. I love you for being you, bro, and saying what you want. Kill it, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Thank you, Jake, for watching. Appreciate all you guys that are watching my content, especially lately. You guys are the best. That's all I got to say. Aaron Rodgers asked if he choked. Yes, he did. There is no doubt. Do I got a filter on? I don't got a filter. It's just my webcam. I do change the brightness and contrast sometimes and tint just to make the picture look nicer. It's not a filter per se. I do, yeah, so it's more so just the webcam settings that I have on. But yeah. I just want to get the best picture possible for you guys. Thank you, Singh. I apologize to any of you guys that don't like me swearing all the time, but that's kind of like the difference in this show that I do is I get angry. I go crazy. So, has your top 5 quarterbacks changed? I think the overreaction that I saw from Ultra is that he was changing his QB rankings. We could deal with quarterback rankings in the offseason, can we? If I was to say who's the best quarterback this year, it was Tom Brady. Throughout from the beginning to the end. If I were to rank quarterbacks entering next year, that's a completely different thing because you got to take age into account. And with Brady being like 45, you always have to deal with him declining. So it's Allen and Mahomes' league obviously moving forward. So counting age, you've got to put them at the top. Accounting for performance this year, it's Tom Brady. And then I'd put Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen in the top 3. But yeah, you guys will see my quarterback rankings when they come out in the offseason. And with that, I account for the performance of the past year on top of the age and things like that. That's why I didn't have Brady last year first or second, because of his age. Even though he had a great year this year, so maybe that was just a mistake. Brandon says, great show. First time here. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate joining, man. Wynn says, hey, Mitch, how do you decide which jersey to display? Well, for today, I don't have, actually I do, well, no, I don't have a Chiefs jersey, actually. If anyone wants to donate one, I'd appreciate that. I do have a Bengals jersey. I could have displayed the Bengals jersey. And I do have an Allen jersey, but he lost. I have a Rodgers, but he lost. So mostly it was just that the Niners won and I have their jersey. I don't have a Rams new jersey either. I need to get a Stafford one, I think. Thanks, Jake. Gotta give Mitch love. We love the anger and hate. It's what a true fan feels. We love the content and appreciate your opinion. It's why we watch. Thank you, man. Rilo says, hey, Mitch, chance on the Bengals winning it all. It's pretty low, bro. I'm not going to lie with you. It's pretty low. But this guy, Joe Burrow, just will not quit. So I won't count them out. Frank says, thanks, Mitch. Keep up the excellent work. It's going to take a few weeks to recover from this loss. Yeah. It's always tough to lose in the playoffs, man. Isaac, go eat. Kaepernick. Ultra says, I really donated $10 and apologized for my Stafford take and got ignored. Says Ultra, I didn't see it, bro. Ultra says, hoping for the Rams, slightly lean them as well, although it's very tough to bet against Kansas City. Okay, let me see if I can find your super chat, Ultra. Sorry. Thank you guys for the super chats, by the way. How far back was it? Where is it? Damn, bro, I don't see it. But you apologized for Stafford. Well, hey, self-scout yourself, right? Do you think the Falcons will release or trade Ridley? Trade, for sure. Brady's going to play till he's 50. The question is, will Brady play next year? I think he will, and a big reason for that is what I said about Rodgers. I think that he'll realize that the NFC is very weak and the Bucs have a good opportunity to go back to the Super Bowl and potentially win it next year. So I think he's going to play one more year. It's also really hard to retire after the year that he had. Jake with another super chat. Jake, thanks. Says, I love you, Mitch. You're number one. Thank you, man. From the whole chat. Let's put that up on my screen. Look at Jake. Thank you, Jake. How much of a hit does Baltimore take without Wink? Significant. Significant hit. He is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. He'll be hard to replace. I don't know if the Niners will make it and win, though. That's a tough bet. Cup's a good one. Cup's a good bet. Joseph says, what position do you think the Lions should target with the Rams pick and the second rounder? What position? They need a lot of positions. Receiver, maybe. Receiver. Doesn't look like they're going to get a quarterback. Their O-line's pretty good. Running back's fine. Swift's good. Tight end's good. They could use a pass rusher, but that might be tough. Linebacker, maybe. Safety, they're okay. Corner, they're weak. So I would probably say receiver or corner if I had to choose. How do you think the Ravens will be next year? I think the Ravens will be playoffs. Don't know how good, but playoffs. Afik says, can the Niners win it all? They have to be. Jimmy has to make plays. They can't win the Super Bowl. As good as the rest of their team is, they can't win the Super Bowl without Jimmy making some throws. He's got to play his best. Do you have plans on collaborating with YouTubers like Goat House? I don't know Goat House. I'd have to reach out to him. I wouldn't be against it. I mean, we could maybe do a crossover video. I know that he does a lot of rankings. And I know that a lot of people that watch me watch him. So could be potential for that. I've never met him, though, so I'm not sure. I'll definitely be doing stuff with guys at Catch the Blitz, which highly recommend you go check them out. My guy Thomas, Chris over there, Christian. Definitely Catch the Blitz. I've had conversations with a couple other creators as well. So potentially, yeah, I'll be looking to see if I can do anything. Will you do free agency predictions? Yes. Niners pass rush can get to Mahomes. Yes. And the Rams, too. Are the Rams linebackers a weakness that the Niners can exploit? The Niners are the best team in exploiting the Rams' weakness at linebacker, so I would say yes. The Niners had beat them 7 times in a row, or 6 times in a row. Kevin, I hope you're right about Belichick. Is Wilson to the Broncos a possibility? Russell Wilson? I guess, yeah. I think a lot of it depends on where Sierra wants to go too, though. Think about that, though. I would love to see Russ with the Giants, especially if Brian Daboll gets hired. That would be very cool. And those weapons, I think, I'd love to see that. Nathan says, did you see what Brady said on his podcast? I did. I don't remember what you're referring to, though. Are you talking about him with his wife, talking about how she doesn't like seeing him get hit and stuff like that? That would be cool if we had 2 guys named Wilson playing quarterback in New York. Cincinnati's going to need an epic chase performance once again to win that game. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you didn't, make sure that you do Gronk spike the like button. If this is the first time watching the Bottom Line View, don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate all of you joining me here tonight live. And we will see you tomorrow for more NFL content. And moving forward, getting you the best preparation for these games possible with my picks on Wednesday, best bets on Thursday. So we'll see you throughout the rest of the week. Thanks, guys, for watching and tuning in. Peace.